Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Madals and this is video number 1000. It's been a long journey and as some of you may know, this here is not StarCraft. Okay, and that is because it is my 1000th video on YouTube. And a couple of months ago I put a thread up on StarCraft Reddit saying, hey, I'm about to hit my 1000th video, what should I do? And I had some really cool suggestions, I'm not going to lie. I had a suggestion that I should maybe do a League of Legends game, which I think would have been absolutely hilarious to be fair. To do a first-person shooter cast, to get a special guest caster on, to do all of these different sort of things. And then actually, a couple of people grouped together and were like, yeah, what would be a really cool thing is if you actually just tell us about what this year has been like, because it has been a little over a year. It's been about 16, 17 months, but what that means is I've had a huge amount of time casting, going to big events, and generally having an awesome time in esports. And a lot of people were curious about that, how to get into casting. So I thought I'd make this video a kind of story so far, what's going to be coming up, and just my experiences that I've had to date. So I hope you all enjoy, and I'm going to try and talk a little bit about it. And if you've got any questions, of course, there's the comment section right below. So if you're watching on YouTube, and when I put this thread up on the StarCraft Reddit, I'm going to be doing it as part of like a Ask Me Anything thing. So feel free to ask me a question on there, and I'll try and get back to all of you. But let's go down with the real basics. This is the 1000th video on my YouTube channel. So I guess it's not the 1000th cast or the 1000th video I've ever done, because I've done lots of streaming, lots of live events and things like that, and obviously things on other people's YouTube channels. So I've done a few more than that. Exactly how many, I don't know. So I can only easily pull stats from things that are on my own channel. So 1000 videos has been done. That is since December, or the end of December 2011. It really all started January 2012. And in that time, I've done just under 530 daily casts. That is averaging over one a day, and it is pretty crazy. So that's a lot of time. In terms of actual sheer video content, I couldn't work it out exactly because obviously there's 1000 videos there. But roughly speaking, each of my casts are about between 15 and 20 minutes long. So I'd estimate that it's approximately about 300 hours of video content. And that's actually just the sheer stuff that comes out. That's not including all the times that when I was starting out that I forgot to plug in my microphone, or the video recording crashed, or I wasn't happy with my performance. So there's probably a lot more time behind the scenes there, but 1000 videos has taught me a lot. And anyone actually out there who's watching this video who really wants to get into casting or thinks, hey, I want to give that a go, that's the advice I give you. Give it a try. There's nothing that can go wrong with it. If it's absolutely appalling, if it's absolutely terrible, yeah, you might get a couple of people hate on you in the comments section, but guess what? You gave it a go, and the chances are you'll probably have a lot of fun doing it and learn a huge amount about StarCraft and just the game as a whole, and it's a really enjoyable thing to do. So I really would suggest that anyone out there who wants to give it a go, just have a try. And with things like OBS, which is free, you can really get into it very easily. So yeah, give it a go. Now, let's talk a little bit about my first videos. I really hope no one's actually gone back and checked them, because I watched my very first ever video through probably a couple of nights ago now, and it was appalling. My casting wasn't great. I was actually using a webcam mic at the time. I didn't have this headset, I didn't have a nice microphone or anything like that. And the video quality was bad, the sound quality was bad. I was pretty bad, to be fair, but it was enjoyable. I really loved it, and I had a couple of views. And actually when I back started, the reason I first put up a video was because I love StarCraft. I played it since the Wings of Liberty beta. I've always been a fan of Blizzard games too. I played the original Warcraft. I remember playing that when I was really little. It was the first game I got properly hooked on. Played all the series, all the Warcraft games, and StarCraft 2 when it came out, I got really into. So started playing it, helping out some friends, started watching a lot more casts and things like that, and then thought, I want to give it a go. So I did, and my target at the time was actually to get just 100 views on a video. Would be ecstatic. I'd be amazed if I got that. And now I'm sitting here about 18 months later with nearly 500,000 views on my YouTube channel, and that is absolutely brilliant. So thank you everyone who regularly watches, and I hope that I can continue to put out a whole ton of video. But that's how I kind of got into it. It all got started quite nicely. Once I started getting traction on my casts and started getting more views, more interaction with people, I really stepped it up. I invested in some nicer kit, upgraded my PC so I could really put out higher quality video, and I just started casting, and that went on for a couple of months. I found as many places I could to try and promote my videos and really get them out so people could see them. And straight away, the first thing I came across was actually a website called GameReplays.org, who let me put up my casts on there, and that was pretty cool. And that actually led in really quite nicely to the first esports organization I got involved with, who I honestly cannot thank enough for giving me some great opportunities, some great advice, and that's Definitive Esports. And so, I mean, by all means, everyone should go and check them out. What they actually do is they do press coverage of esports, but mainly now with a refocus are looking all to do with more in-depth articles, analysis, opinion-based journalism, as opposed to just breaking news. So definitely check out Definitive Esports. And the reason I got involved with them is because they were actually running a weekly tournament and casting a weekly tournament called Antec Attack, and that was the first real chance I got of casting live. And I think that was just such a great opportunity, because every single week it was, if I recall correctly, a €200 tournament, and I cast it with a brilliant caster from the UK who lives in Wales called Pewey, and we cast that together weekly for a couple of months, always. And this is how far back it goes. This is back when Hyun and Revival were still on TSL, and it always used to end with those two up against each other in a best of 5 finals at a stupid o'clock in the morning Korean time. And it was really good fun. And on from there, again through Definitive Esports, I actually went to my first offline event as a caster, and that was the Insomnia events in the UK. They're hosted by a company called Multiplay, and they are a brilliant, and anyone in the UK should definitely go and attend them. They're actually the host to the ESET UK Masters, which is something that I'll talk about in the future. But yeah, Insomnia events, brilliant fun, massive halls filled with computers, lots of cool people. I've actually met some of the coolest people I think ever in my life at Insomnia events, and just at LANs in general, and I think that's a credit to just how cool esports is. All you guys and any girls watching, you are all absolutely brilliant, so thank you for being an awesome group. But yeah, Insomnia events, this was back in August, I believe, of 2012. This was my first offline event, and it was the most stressful thing I think I've ever done, especially the finals. I'm not someone to get stage fright or anything like that, but doing it in front of a live audience was so much harder than just sitting at home doing it from replays and things like that. But apparently it didn't do too bad, and they had me back at the next Insomnia event down in November, and that was actually the end of the 2012 season of ESET UK Masters, and I cast all of that. It was brilliantly good fun. I met some really cool players and got to see some fantastic games. Then on from there, I started doing more and more regular, more high-profile things. So I started doing the ESET UK Masters weekly casting on show matches, on qualification cups for the 2013 season. Also at the same time, I picked up the Dutch StarCraft League and started doing a lot of casting for them online. And again, great opportunities, great people. And if there's one thing I'd have to say about esports as a whole, it has some of the most dedicated and incredible individuals in it who go above and beyond what they need to do to try and make events successful, often on a complete voluntary basis. That's something you don't often see, and I think that the community as a whole really should show a lot of love to all those event organisers and things like that who do a lot there, and especially the smaller events too. They do an incredible amount on very little money with an awful lot of volunteers. So really, volunteers make a lot of esports work. Now, with Dutch StarCraft League, with ESET UK Masters, both conclude with offline events, and again, they've been absolutely fantastic. Meeting people in real life who have watched the cast, watched the online events, has been one of the greatest things ever. I've met some fantastic people. Just a couple of months ago, or actually about a month ago now, I was over in Holland casting the finals of the Dutch StarCraft League, and the audience there, absolutely incredible, so passionate, so exciting. The ESET UK Masters Season 1 finals up in, Telford in England, which is near Birmingham. That was another great opportunity. Met a lot of the Team Liquid players, a lot of their staff, a lot of the Western Wolves people too. And all of these people are just incredible. All of the audience, all the fans are absolutely great as well. And that kind of leads me on to the biggest thing I've done to date, which is where I'd say quite a few of you may have noticed me from, or may have started watching my casts, and that would be WCS EU Challenger. And it was a really great opportunity, which I'm hoping is going to follow on into Season 2. But I cast a vast majority of that with, of course, Jorasar, Nathanius, Lurlian, Zoya, and between us we did most of the WCS EU Challenger, all of the qualifiers, all of the actual group play and things like that, and that was brilliant. And seeing that level of play, I think WCS as a whole, regardless of your opinions on everything, whether you're a content producer, whether you're a tournament organizer, has done so much for StarCraft. There's such high quality games coming out all the time that it just really gives the players a great environment. So that was WCS, which again I hope is going to continue into the future. And as part of that, another person I've got to give a really big shout out to is someone called Nick Baker, who runs Game Social TV, and he actually does a lot of the streaming for these big events I do, things like the ESET UK Masters for WCS EU Challenger, and he does a fantastic job. And that really is my point, that from all of my year in esports, one of the really big things that I think a lot of people underestimate is what people do behind the scenes. It's very easy to look at the players, look at casters, and see them out there doing the work, doing the hours and hours and hours. But actually, it's the people behind the scenes who often do a lot more. All of these graphics I've got, the banners to the side were made by someone else because I'm not an expert in Photoshop. And these people do it, and they do such a good job of it. The stream producers, the tournament, the admins. So yeah, everyone, say a big thank you to the admins. If you ever meet one in real life, they tend to be pretty cool as well. Although usually stressed. If you ever meet an admin at a tournament and you're not involved with the tournament, be careful, because they're going to be stressed, because players are going to be complaining about something, audiences are going to be complaining about something else, and they're the people who have to kind of do battle to make sure it all runs. So this leaves me looking into the future. This is where I am now. I've done all those big events. It's a bit of downtime between the WCS series, between the ESET UK Masters series, between the Dutch StarCraft League series. And yeah, I've got some really exciting stuff coming up. I've got another weekly tournament that I'm going to be casting fairly soon. Of course, WCS Season 2 is coming up. Hopefully I'll have something to do with that. And it's just been a great opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to the future, and hopefully, with any luck, I'll be able to spend a lot more time casting, and hopefully make enough money to be able to do it nearly full time. But yeah, that is my story so far. As I said at the start of the video, if you've got any questions for me, just use the comment section below. If you're on YouTube or if you're on Reddit, leave me a comment. I'll try and answer as many as I can. Literally ask me anything. Probably some of the basic ones. What race do I play? I started off back in Wings of Liberty playing Protoss. I then switched to Zerg for the majority, but before patch Zerg came in, boys and girls. And then, come Heart of the Swarm, I moved back to random because I'm casting a lot more than playing, so I wanted to make sure that I knew all three races as best I could. So, other obvious questions I think the people may be able to ask me. Yeah, started playing Heart of the Swarm back in the beta, started playing Wings of Liberty in the beta. Yes, I've played pretty much every Blizzard game that's ever come out. Diablo, Warcraft, World of Warcraft, Warcraft 3, StarCraft 2, StarCraft, all of them. I think they're awesome. Blizzard are a brilliant company. And yeah, other than that, gaming as a whole is awesome. Esports is awesome, and the fans are probably the best. So thank you very much for watching my little monologue. And if you did enjoy, make sure that you give the video a nice little thumbs up and leave a cool comment. I'm Madals. See you tomorrow for another normal cast. Bye for now.